Hey, comic lovers, EMoney and the old man here again with Thor the Dog of Thunder here. Hey, boy. Hey.
The dog of treats.
Yeah. How you doing? You doing good? We haven't been on a walk lately. I had to work for a lot of last week, so...
And you went on vacation.
I didn't go on vacation.
You went to a convention.
I did go to a convention.
Yeah, he's goofing off. It's terrible.
Yeah, so didn't get a chance to take Thor out, so we're gonna go later this week, aren't we, boy?
Biting.
Aren't we? Yeah. All right. So let's see. What do we got going on today? Well, I guess I'll give you a brief recap of what happened at the Fright Night Film Festival. Some cool stuff. I got to see a lot of old friends that I hadn't seen in a while, and also we get to see the world premiere of They See You, movie starring Mr. John Wells and Jason Crow. So hopefully, you'll get a chance to see that once it's out on Blu-ray and DVD. Also, I took home a loot of indie films from some of my friends from the Indie Film Festival, from The Wicked One and The Wicked Ones, by the same people who made They See You. So, the old man and I, we have our October movie viewing set for the next week or two.
Yeah, somebody's determined to watch all the scary movies in October.
Mm-hmm. All right, so other than that, what are we going to do today? We are talking about our review for Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Oh.
Yeah.
We did see that.
Yep. We're going to give our review here in just a minute. Also, we have our comic book reviews. A lot of great indie titles came out this week. We have Crossover, which was on hiatus for a really long time. Don't know.
Good old, what's it called? Space Busters.
Oh, we have Space. Oh, where you going, buddy?
Hey, get your butt back over here. Get on it. Yep.
So, Space Bastards and also Brzrkr from Keanu Reeves is gonna be reviewed today. All right. So, looking forward to that, and plus our previews for this week's comics.
Get up here. Get where you belong.
Get your butt. Move your butt. Move your butt. Turn around.
Now you
sit. There you go.
There you go.
All right. So remember,
thunder, please.
your key to surviving an encounter with a symbiote: fire and sound, guys. Fire and sound.
I can scream real loud.
Mm-hmm. This is Back Issues. All right, comic lovers, so before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of these comics, or give us some recommendations. All right, so first up, before we get into comic books, we are going to talk about the new release from Marvel and Sony, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. All right, so I have notes here. All right, so we're going to try to be as vague as possible, but, for the sake of, your own surprise, minor spoilers maybe.
So, just make your decision.
Yeah.
If you don't want spoilers, you might want to fast forward. You see us start popping comic books up.
Yeah. All right, so Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Not an official, sole Marvel movie, but more on that later. All right, so first of all, it's cool to see, all the characters are back from the first movie. You have, Tom Hardy, of course, Anne, and also you have Mrs. Chen, who, you wouldn't think would be important enough for them to bring back in the next movie, but...
I think she's my favorite part of the movie.
All right, so also you have Anne's boyfriend, Dr. Dan, new boyfriend, Dr. Dan, and he actually surprised me. I thought for most of the movie that he was an unnecessary character, but
he's got a pair on him.
Yeah, and he is comic relief, like sort of comic relief for most of the movie, but by the third act he steps up.
I'd say Mrs. Chen is all the comic relief this movie needed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Venom and Eddie are a comedic duo, pretty much.
Yeah. Mrs. Chen wins, though.
Mm-hmm. And also, you have Woody Harrelson. He was in the after credit scene in the first movie, and now he is the main antagonist in this one. And also, new character Naomi Harris as Shriek in this film.
Now, in the comics, Shriek is actually a symbiote.
Yes.
But in the movie, so a mutant?
Yeah. I mean, you have a symbiote who's in love with someone with sound power, so, you know, you can see how that's going to create a little tension.
Yeah, that might be a problem.
So, also, the movie is painfully short. I mean, coming in just over 90 minutes.
I mean, most superhero movies are usually well over 2 hours.
So, you know, don't expect a long haul if you're sitting down to watch it in the theater. So, given that it was short, I was expecting, you know, having more than one confrontation in the movie between Venom and Carnage, because almost any superhero movie, there's more than one fight between the hero and the villain. You know, you have, you know, like the first two Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. You know, he had several confrontations with Green Goblin in the first movie, and then Doc Ock in the second movie. This one, no. I mean, they meet up in the third act, final fight scene, and that's it. That's all you get.
I'll be honest. I mean, I feel the same way about two symbiotes fighting as I do about two robots in the Transformers movies fighting. It's just a big blur of stuff going everywhere. I mean, you can't tell one tendril from another, so...
Yeah, I mean, they were really bad about that in the second Transformers movie. I thought they got a little better about it in the third and fourth movie, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. So I'm not saying the movie is totally devoid of action before the final confrontation, but, yeah, that's all you get between Venom and Carnage. So then you have, you know, Woody Harrelson's performance, and, you know, Woody, you know, he always brings his A game.
I mean, I don't think Woody's capable of phoning a performance in. I think if he's going to bring his A game to anything he shows up to do.
I mean, you have some actors like, you know, Denzel Washington. I mean, not that I don't love Denzel, but for a lot of his movies, it's like he's playing the same guy every movie. The only times I remember him having to really stretch was Training Day and Fences were like two of his best performances.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. But Woody, I mean, he's really diverse. I mean, he seems like he's playing a different guy, you know, most of his movies. So
let's not just forget about Tom Hardy either.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
he's Tom Hardy's great.
Actor.
Yeah,
he has given us role after role where he's thoroughly entertaining. He does a great job. I can't imagine how difficult it was to do a movie where you're talking to yourself, and sometimes there's something you're talking to that you can't really see.
Right.
I mean, hell of a job.
Yeah. All right, so there's the performances, and now we come to the after credit scene in the movie, and I don't want to give too much away, but it definitely sets a lot of stuff up.
Well, when it comes to after credit scenes, I mean, I know it's a Marvel trademark, but if I sit through the credits, which, let's face it, for a Marvel movie, that could be a long time. And then you show the team of Avengers sitting in a restaurant with shawarma?
Shawarma.
Just eating and relaxing and not even talking to each other. And I wasted 20, 30 minutes to see that scene, which, granted, it's an impressive scene anytime they all get together. But I want to see something like the end of the one movie where you see Thor's hammer sitting there.
Yeah.
And you know that it's leading to something. Well, trust me, this scene, which is in the middle of the credits, not the very end, leads to something.
Yep.
So, good.
It goes back to, if you've watched the trailer or the commercials on TV, it says, the tagline is, the universe needs a Venom, or something similar to that. So, you know, kind of a little clue as to future plans. Hintity, hint, hint. Universe. All right, so Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Fun stuff. Like I said, very short. It comes in, Old Man and I talked about it, 2.5 popcorns out of 4.
Right. You know,
So
keep in mind what that means. 2 means it's an average movie. I don't feel like I wasted my time. Although your average Marvel movie,
however,
is probably going to get 3 popcorns. So this was, I would say, in the lower 25% of all the Marvel movies.
Right. All right, so there you have our review of Venom, There Be Carnage, now playing in theaters. All right, so there's our movie review, and now we are on to our comic book reviews. Now, if you ever watch the channel, you know we do our comic reviews a little differently than we do our movie reviews. Comic reviews, we have a 5-shield rating system. We do 2 scores each, one for writing and story, and the other one for artwork. And then we take our 4 scores, combining them together, and have a average overall score for the issue.
And there's no collaboration. We don't talk about the comics. We don't talk about our scores until we sit down to come up with those averages.
Right. All right, so first we want to do our mentions for the week, something we felt inclined to talk about.
These are comics that weren't in the top 3, might have been close, or they might have been a long way from getting
Maybe
to the
we
top 3.
didn't like them, and that's why we want to talk about them.
All right, so the first one you want to talk about is from Boom Studios. It's a book from Keanu Reeves, who's got a movie coming up soon. Brzrkr #5.
All right, so if you've been watching the channel, or you've been reading the Brzrkr comics, he is a immortal. Well, when he was first born, he was a barbarian, part of a tribe, and his father was the tribal chief. And he's been kicking around this mortal coil for a long time, up into the modern times. And the people who employ him are put him in this machine to get him to recall some memories, because if you've been walking around this big blue marble for as long as he has, you're probably gonna forget some things. So basically it's kind of a blur of memories, going from one time during his early life as a nomad barbarian warrior, just one short story to the next. And usually when people found out not what he was, because who could figure that out, what he can do, thinking he's some kind of demon or something unnatural, they don't respond kindly to him. So by the end of the issue, he's back in the modern time, and he has some kind of feedback, and he actually breaks the machine that they were trying to use to recall his memories, and the story ends there. So this issue seemed a little more jumbled than the previous issues. The previous issues had a little bit more narrative. This one didn't like as much, so that's why it's a mention and not in our top 3. And it comes in at
rounded up to 3.5 shields.
3.5 shields out of 5. All right, next up
from Image Comics, a book you've been asking me, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? Crossover #8 finally showed up.
Yeah. All right, so if you've been reading Crossover, it's a story about what happens in the real world when somehow some event happens to where every comic book character you've ever heard of suddenly appears in the real world.
Most of them are inside this dome that covers the city, but they don't all seem to be stuck in there.
No. And, obviously a big fight ensued from ground zero when they first appeared.
Yeah, because you had heroes and villains showing up.
Yeah, and it was a big battle, and did not go well for us mere mortals.
That's what you call a Donnybrook.
So then, in this issue, you find out that one of our beloved characters, who you thought was someone from the real world,
pretty much the main character,
who was a comic book fan, is actually one of the characters. And they get paid a visit from 2 characters, Dina Pilgrim and Christian Walker from the Image Comics Powers. Yeah, I remember watching the TV show. And, they have a confrontation here. And that was probably the highlight of this issue, was the confrontation between our girl and the Powers division. And then they have a small build up at the end of the issue, where another character is going to confront one of the detainees in this military base, and he's like, "What? Who is it? Is it Joker? Is it Carnage?"
That would have been cool.
Yeah, and then they show you who it is, and it's someone personal to him, not a not a big comic book character.
Direction completely.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing.
Hmm.
So this issue did not enjoy as much as previous issues, but still, good concept, good stuff. Crossover number 8 comes in at
rounded up to 3 shields.
3 shields out of 5. All right, so our final mention for this week is
it's a DC Black Label, which kind of means they can do whatever they want.
Black Label. Is kind of like the new Elseworlds in DC, right?
No continuity. No, it's not canon. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Batman Reptilian number 4.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Batman Reptilian. If you've heard us talk about this series so far, you know that it has great writing. Love the writing.
Garth Ennis.
Yeah, Garth Ennis, good stuff. Garth Ennis knows how to write for Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then you have the artist, Liam Sharp, who, in our opinion, not so great. You've heard us mention before on this show how we don't typically like painted artwork.
Well, let me show them just a really good example of what I find to be disappointing. There's a full-page panel here. If you're going to do a full-page panel, I expect it to be pretty daggone cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, you don't put a lot of words in it. It's not much, and yet it takes up an entire page of the comic. This panel right here, I looked at it twice. I'm like, what am I looking at? And I knew there had to be something there because I see the dialogue balloon right here. Well, if you look really close, I don't know if you can see it, but this is Killer Croc's head. And I assume some of this might be his body, but who the hell knows? It's too dark. You can't tell.
It's a big green dark blob.
So this artist got paid to show me a green blob.
Mm-hmm. Who was the artist who did Batman Cult that you always tell the story about?
Barty Wrightson.
Yeah, and it was like he was a really great artist, but the artwork on Batman Cult was not so good.
Substandard. I met him in Baltimore at a little cocktail party before a dealer's convention.
Right. And to make a long story short, you asked him what was up with the Batman Cult artwork, and then what did he say to you?
He says, well, can you keep a secret? I said, yeah. He says, I did it really fast, and I got paid an obscene amount of money.
So, I don't know what, Liam Sharp's excuse for this artwork is. I mean, I'd have to see more of his artwork to know, to judge him, overall. But
I'm willing to bet you that he's done work that we would like.
Okay.
But that ain't it.
Okay. So, maybe it's the same reason. I don't know. So...
Well, stop paying him so much, then.
So, in the story, Batman finally discovers the creature that has been terrorizing Gotham's underworld for so long. And, when this first started, I would have thought it was Croc. I would have thought it was Killer Croc, but no. But, however, Killer Croc does have a part in this.
Oh, he's got a major part to play in this.
Yeah, so Batman comes face to face with the creature and explains to Croc, what part he has played in this. And it's kind of funny at the same time as it is humiliating, I guess, for Croc.
Well, I'll let you know how great I think the writing is. Normally, a book like that, I would have bought one issue and never picked up another one. And we're on issue number 4, and the artwork's been pretty bad the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, it's our opinion. I'm sure there's other people that think this is great artwork.
Mm-hmm.
But something's got to be right about the book, or I wouldn't keep chasing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so well written.
I mean, the guy who did the cover, Cully, I think it says here on the cover.
And that's a variant.
Yeah, I mean, I would have preferred his artwork here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're making such a big deal about Liam Sharp's artwork in this. But anyways, Batman Reptilian number 4, great writing, terrible artwork. And it comes in at...
It comes in at 3 shields.
3 shields out of 5. All right, so there is our mentions for this week, and now we are on to our top 3.
All right, and we had a tie. Didn't have one last time, so I thought we were maybe past all that. But number 1 was a solid number 1. But 2 and 3, there was a tie. I try to come up with these unique contests so that we can decide who gets to pick. So I came up with, let's play Simon Says. And can you imagine playing Simon Says with only 2 people? I'm not even sure how we did it, and I'm not sure, but somehow it appears you won. But at any rate, so he picked the order of number 2 and number 3. And according to EMoney, number 3 was DC's Detective Comics number 1043.
All right, so this one continues the story of the magistrate who was the sort of occupying police force in Gotham in this story. And someone attempts to kidnap the mayor of Gotham City. And
I don't like that guy anyway, so I'm all right with that.
Yeah. And whether it was a some sort of plot by the magistrate or some third party, we're not sure. But of course, Batman has to intervene. And what you were talking about earlier in the Batman Reptilian and the big green blob you saw, that's commonly called a splash page. And this splash page I really like. This Batman here with him taking one of the kidnappers and forcing him down to the ground face first.
Well, I know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I know what that is.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there. So Batman attempts a rescue of the mayor and confronts the magistrate. And so good stuff there. And also the Beast story was pretty great in this.
That's been going on. What is this, number 3 of that?
Part 3, maybe?
Yeah, part 2 or part 3, but it's rare that we enjoy a backup story, but this one's solid.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Involves a reporter.
Who's new. I don't think I've ever seen her before.
Yeah, and the Red Hood. And Batman makes an appearance in this story. First time he's been in this story. And it's just, solid throughout on this issue.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think, you know what? Now that I'm looking at this, isn't this the same artist who did the Legend of the Dark Knight in the beginning?
We'd have to do research on
Yeah.
that.
I will put up my whatever I found out in the on the bottom of the page here, or bottom of the screen.
Right here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure on that. Anyways, all right. So Batman Detective Comics 1043 comes in our number 3 spot with
Rounded up to 4 shields.
4 shields out of 5. All right. Next up,
another Black Label book from DC. Batman versus Bigby, A Wolf in Gotham.
all right. So another Black Label issue, which means not canon, so they can do whatever the hell they want, really.
Which sometimes is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. So Batman is investigating a series of grisly murders that have happened in squatters' dens and abandoned warehouses and stuff. And the reader sees that this guy who kind of gives off a John Constantine kind of vibe is kind of watching Batman from a distance. Now, in this issue, Robin radios Batman saying that he found the crime scene. Now, I'm not sure which Robin this is, but in one part it says that where is it? He says that Tim and Stephanie are on their way. So, if you've ever read any Batman comic book in recent years, you know that most members of the Bat family have been Robin at some point or another.
At least for a minute.
Yeah, before, adopting a new identity. So this first Robin, I don't know if it's Damian, if it's Dick Grayson, or who. But when Tim and Stephanie show up, they're both also wearing Robin suits. So it's like you got 3 Robins running around. So, I don't know. And he said, Robin to Batman. He didn't say like Robin 1 to Batman or anything like that. So I feel like that would get confusing.
Yeah, well, he can probably tell from her voice. His caller ID probably identifies him.
Right. So that's kind of interesting. So later on, Batman finds the John Constantine looking guy, and he says something like, you've been dogging my trail for the last 3 nights, and I want to know how you did it because you you'd think, most people can't, follow Batman for
This
very
guy
long.
snuck up on the Batman.
Yeah, and the guy is actually equally as impressed. I assume he's Bigby. I'm not sure on that, but the guy who I assume is Bigby, he's equally impressed with Batman because he says that up until just now, I never would have thought a mere mortal could sneak up on me. So they have a little confrontation, and Batman, being Batman, takes him into his custody. And when he wakes up, Batman has a few questions for him.
I'm sure he does.
Yep, and that's how we end that issue. So it's got good artwork and storytelling. Interested to see what happens. I'm hoping it's not going to be your typical Batman story because, like I said, a wolf in Gotham. Batman usually doesn't do the supernatural very often.
He's fought Dracula before. Come on.
I said not typically. I'm not saying it's unheard of. So, interested to see what happens next. So, Batman versus Bigby #1 comes in at...
Also rounded up to 4 shields.
4 shields out of 5.
And
all right.
now.
All right, so we have our #1 comic this week. A series that has been absent of the top 3 for a number of issues, and we're going to get into that in a second. But it's finally back where it belongs, in our #1 spot, and that is...
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Space Bastards. Number 8, from Humanoids.
All right. So, if you've been watching our channel, you know that for the first 5 issues, Space Bastards was always in the top 3 at least, maybe #1.
Usually #1.
Yeah.
I mean, we love that book.
Yeah, but then in number 6 and 7, the artist changed, and it changed to an artist who does painted artwork, and
Simon Bisley.
Yeah, Simon Bisley, and you know how we feel about painted artwork for comic books.
This is another guy who's got a heck of a reputation as a comic book artist. He does a lot of work, and he's very popular.
Yeah.
But not those 2 issues of Space Bastards. Because I know I'm not the only one who felt that way, because there's a couple guys at our local comic book shop, Comic Book World, who I've talked to, and they're like, man, I'm going to drop this book because it's so ugly.
Yeah.
But Joe commented.
Yeah, Joe Aubrey, one of the writers and co-creators of Space Bastards.
He commented on one of our chapters, and he told us that the original artist was coming back. Just be patient. So I spread the word, and the couple of guys that I talked to at the shop, they were like, well, I guess we'll keep getting it. And they did.
Yep.
And I've already talked to one of them since this book came out. And he said, man, thank you for getting me to stick with it, because I never would have. And this book was back to its old roots.
So the 2 issues that didn't have Roberts in, I think, were backstories. You saw... No?
The one where you see the building blow up was part of Bisley's work.
Okay. So, finally, back with the original team. And like you said, the headquarters for Space Bastards has blown up. And the same people who blew up the headquarters is rolling out a new technology, a teleportation technology, which is going to render the Space Bastards obsolete.
That's why you blow up your competition.
Yep.
You got nobody else delivering anything. You got to get the job.
So the Space Bastards, who normally would be at each other's throats, decide to put differences aside and take it to the real enemy, the people who are looking to put them out of business. So it's got great artwork, and also I can actually tell what the hell is going on each page. Not having to overanalyze, not having to get guesswork, but we know what's happening. So also, one of the subplots in this story is kind of dark.
I'm okay with dark.
Yeah.
I know you didn't like it that much, but I'm okay with it.
And guy who picking his kid up from summer camp, something horrible happened to the kid, and he blew up the main building of the camp.
Their attitude was pretty sucky, so they deserved it.
You can blow people up you don't like in this world.
I read a science fiction story one time about when you're in your car and you're driving, if somebody cuts you off, or flips you off, or does anything to piss you off, you can arm your weapons in your car and take them out.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make you think people would just be nicer to each other.
You would think so, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. Like, everyone kind of sucks in this world, even the non-space bastard people. All right, so subplot there, and it says at the end of the issue to be season 1 concludes next issue of Space Bastards number 9. So we're gonna see the final confrontation of the Space Bastards and the enemy powers right here.
Joe, if you're watching, if you want to leave a comment, there is going to be a season 2, right? And if so, about when?
Well, I mean, if there weren't, I would think it would say Space Bastards concludes, not season 1 concludes.
Yeah,
so.
I know, but I just like a little confirmation. So
yeah.
If you're watching, Joe, give us a hookup. Let us know.
All right, so the original team back in action. Space Bastards number 8, our number 1 pick for this week with 4 shields out of 5.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. Like it.
All right, so there is our top 3 picks for this week. Check them out at your local comic book shop if you haven't already. And now on to our picks for this week. If you're watching on Wednesday, then these just came out today. So what do we have?
All right, so this week was a big week.
Mm-hmm.
We picked up, I think, 15 comics. This week, we're down to 12, which is, I know it doesn't seem like a huge difference, but it's much more manageable. But everything is coming out this week, except for a couple, are interesting titles. There's very few on here that we just get because we've been getting.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new one, Arkham City, The Order of the World. So I think that picks up after the recent events in Arkham.
Another Batman title to get.
Of course. And speaking of Batman,
mm-hmm.
Batman number 114 comes out. So
okay.
we always look forward to that. That Joker presents a puzzle box. The next issue of that comes out.
Okay.
And I guess the one that we look forward to the most is The Nice House on the Lake.
All right.
That has been good stuff.
All Batman and Nice House on the Lake are our top picks for this week. All right, so there are our movie reviews, our comic book reviews, and our comic previews. Now, since we reviewed Venom, Let There Be Carnage this week, I have a special Venom symbiote-related Stumpy Old Man question.
What the hell? You know I don't like those guys, the symbiotes.
Well, I'm doing a theme here. All right, let's head back up into the garage with Thor. All right, comic lovers. So, because we had our Let There Be Carnage review today, I have a symbiote-inspired Stumpy Old Man question here for you.
He knows I don't particularly care for the symbiotes. I mean, not a huge fan. Not my favorite character in the Marvel Universe. So, of course, he's going to roll with that.
Well, I mean, we saw Venom, so feel like it has to be themed.
Is the answer to the question in the movie?
No.
See how he does me?
All right, so the question is, in the comics, name one host for the Venom symbiote besides Peter Parker and Eddie Brock.
Oh, okay. You said throw me a bone. It threw me a bone. Decided to make it easy on me this time. Okay, well, I mean, there's been a crap load, but I'll go with the one that came to mind first, and that is Flash Thompson. He was actually, him and the Venom or the symbiote, whatever, were agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something like that.
Agent Venom. So he said Flash Thompson, so technically that's correct. All right, so other answers could have been Telkar, which in one story was a Kree who was actually the first Venom symbiote before he came to Earth.
Don't remember nothing about that.
There was also Anne Wayne from the movies. She was the She-Venom, the first She-Venom in the comics. Another She-Venom was a woman by the name of Patricia Robertson, a Army lieutenant who bonded with the symbiote. The second She-Venom was a woman by the name of Angelo Fortunato. Don't know anything about that one, but it was in my research. Also, you had Mac Gargan, aka the Scorpion, who when he bonded with the Venom symbiote, made a pretty formidable opponent for Spider-Man.
I don't remember that either.
And then you said Flash Thompson. Also, there was Lee Price, an Army Ranger who briefly bonded with the symbiote.
Told you it was a ton.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, Mal Kith, the Dark Elf, who during the Battle of the Realms defeated Venom and took the symbiote as his own and added it to his own dark magic. So pretty.
That just seems wrong.
Yeah, pretty dangerous opponent there. All right, but you did say Flash Thompson,
I
so
did, so
yep.
I'm right. I win.
Yep, the old man wins this round. All right, comic lovers, that's gonna about do it for this episode. Before we go, I want to say we have Venom, There Be Carnage just came out, and we have a new movie coming out every month for the next 3 months in November, December, and then January. And then we're going to take a short break and then be back here in March. January is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. March, I don't remember, but I'm going to put it up on the screen right here. So, you the viewer will know. All right, so also we're going to have our more comic reviews next week and more of Thor the Dog of Thunder. Hopefully I have some reports from our walk later this week. Right, boy?
If you don't take him for a walk, the next time he sees you, just might start chewing on your leg.
All right, comic lovers, we'll see you next time. Excelsior.
True believers, what's your favorite snack to give your dog?